All right, so you're out there, you're creating, putting out some really great user-generated content. Brands are starting to notice, which is fantastic.
It really is.
But then, boom, that question hits. Okay, how much do I actually charge for this? It can feel like a major hurdle, can it?
Yeah, it's a really common sticking point. And that's exactly the puzzle we want to unpack in this deep dive today.
Right.
We're looking at how you, as a UGC creator, can figure out fair pricing. Confidently price your work without selling yourself short.
Exactly. Because that happens too often.
It does. The sources we dug into offer some, well, really practical strategies, things you can actually use.
Good. So the mission here is basically to arm you with the knowledge, the understanding of your value, help you navigate all those pricing factors, and, ultimately help you set up a sustainable income from your brilliant UGC work.
Couldn't have said it better.
So let's get into it. First up, understanding your value. It's definitely more than just pointing your phone and hitting record, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Way more. It's critical to see that UGC isn't just, a quick video.
Yeah.
What you're actually giving brands is authenticity. It's content that connects with people in a way that, frankly, a lot of traditional ads just can't anymore.
And that connection leads to?
Well, it demonstrably helps build relationships and, importantly, drives sales for the brand. That's tangible value.
Okay, so let's break that down. What are all the components? What actually goes into creating this valuable UGC?
Well, you've got the ideation first, right? Coming up with the actual concepts that fit the brand's goals.
The creative thinking part.
Exactly. Then there's the filming or the photography itself. That takes skill, the right eye, often your own gear.
Sure.
Then comes editing. And let's be honest, editing can be really time-consuming. It needs technical skill to make it look polished.
Oh yeah, the editing rabbit hole is real.
It is, and sometimes you might even be involved in distributing it, sharing it on your own channels, which adds another layer of value.
Right, so it's this whole package deal. Ideation, shooting, editing, maybe even distribution.
Precisely. When you lay it out like that, it's clearly not just a hobby. It's a significant contribution to a brand's marketing mix.
Which perfectly leads us to the next bit. The factors that actually shape the price. Because there isn't just one number, is there?
Not at all. Understanding these different elements is absolutely key to setting the right rate.
So what are the big ones? What should creators be thinking about when they're trying to figure out their pricing?
Okay, several key things. First, the specific deliverables. What exactly is the brand asking for?
Like number of videos, photos?
Exactly. One short video, a whole series, still images, a combination. The volume and the type of content directly impact your time and effort.
Makes total sense. More work equals more cost. What else?
Second, and this is a big one, usage rights. How and where is the brand going to use this content?
Oh, okay.
Think about the duration. Is it for a month, 6 months, a year? In perpetuity, meaning forever.
Right. And where it shows up matters too.
Definitely. Is it just going on their Instagram feed? Or do they want rights for TikTok, their website, email marketing, maybe even paid ads? Broader usage generally means a higher price.
Got it. So long-term, multi-platform use, that's a premium service. What else?
Exclusivity is another really important factor.
Meaning you can't work with competitors.
Yeah. If the deal prevents you from working with, say, other skincare brands for 6 months, that limits your earning potential elsewhere.
Okay.
So that limitation has a value and it needs to be factored into your rate.
That makes perfect sense. You're essentially reserving your niche focus for them.
You are. Then there's the turnaround time. How quickly do they need it?
The rush job factor.
Exactly. If a brand needs content delivered, like yesterday, that often justifies a higher rate.
Right.
It means added pressure, maybe shuffling your schedule.
Total. Got to pay for the speed. And I assume your own track record comes into play, like experience and portfolio.
Oh, absolutely. Just like any field, your experience level and the quality shown in your portfolio are significant. If you've got a proven history of creating killer content that gets results, you can naturally command higher fees than someone just starting out.
Okay, so we've got deliverables, usage, exclusivity, turnaround, and experience. That's a solid checklist.
It covers the main bases.
But let's talk actual numbers. What does this translate to in, say, 2025? What are some ballpark figures people are seeing?
Okay, based on the sources we looked at, a single UGC video seems to be landing somewhere in the range of roughly $150 up to maybe $310.
$150 to $310 for one video.
Yeah, But it's really crucial to stress this is a general range. The actual price depends heavily on the complexity.
Like how fancy the editing needs to be.
Exactly. And those usage rights we just talked about, how wide are they? That heavily influences where you fall in that range or maybe even beyond it.
Okay, so a basic testimonial might be lower end, but a detailed demo with specific shots could push it higher.
Precisely. And another common practice is bundles.
Package deals.
Right. If a brand wants, say, 3 videos, creators often offer a discount, usually somewhere in the 10 to 20% range off the individual price.
Makes sense. Encourages bigger orders.
Yeah.
What about those extras, like letting brands use the content in their paid ads?
Yes. Those add-ons can significantly boost your rates, things like whitelisting.
Where they run ads from your account.
Yeah, basically giving them permission to run ads as you from your profile. That, or just granting broader rights for them to use your content in their paid ad campaigns.
Yeah.
Those kinds of rights can increase your base rate substantially, potentially by 30, even 50%.
Wow, okay. That's a serious jump. So you really need to be clear about whether those rights are included or extra.
Absolutely critical. And again, these are just averages. Your specific niche matters. Beauty might differ from gaming, for instance.
Yeah.
The platforms involved matter. And like we said, your unique experience and portfolio strength are huge factors.
This gives people a much better framework, though. So now you have an idea of the numbers. How do you actually present this to a brand professionally?
Great question. This is where a rate card comes in. It's incredibly valuable.
A rate card, okay.
Yeah, creating a detailed, professional-looking rate card is pretty essential if you're serious about UGC as a business.
So what needs to be on it? It sounds a bit formal, maybe intimidating if you're new.
It doesn't have to be. Think of it like a menu for your services. Clear and simple.
Okay.
You definitely need a breakdown of the types of content you offer, short videos, longer ones, photos, whatever it is.
Your menu items.
Exactly. And next to each, your standard price for that item.
Got it. Clear services, clear prices. What else?
Your typical turnaround time for each service is really helpful, sets expectations up front.
Good point. Manage expectations.
And, maybe most importantly, spell out your terms regarding usage rights. What does your standard price include? How long, which platforms?
The fine print, but important print.
Very important. And if you offer add-ons like extended usage, ad rights, or exclusivity, list those separately with their additional costs.
So it's super clear what they get for the base price and what costs extra.
Precisely. Clarity prevents confusion later. And don't forget to keep it updated.
Right, it's not set in stone forever.
Definitely not. As you get better, build your portfolio, and as the market shifts, your rate card needs to evolve too. Review it regularly.
Okay, makes sense. So you've got this polished rate card ready to go. Now for the sometimes awkward part, talking money with brands. Any tips for navigating those negotiation chats?
Yeah, it can feel tricky. I think the biggest thing is confidence.
Easier said than done sometimes.
True, but when you present your rates, really own them. Understand the value you're bringing. Be ready to articulate why your work is worth that price.
Right. Project confidence. But what if they push back? Say the budget is just lower than your rate. That happens all the time.
Very common. And a really smart tactic here, rather than just slashing your price, is to adjust the scope of the project.
How do you mean?
Well, if your rate for 3 videos is $6, but their budget is lower, maybe you offer them 1 or 2 videos for their budget amount, instead of doing 3 videos for less money each.
I see. So you maintain the value per video. You just deliver less overall.
Exactly. You're being flexible on the deliverables, not necessarily on the value of your time and skill per piece of content.
That's a great approach. Protects your rate integrity. What if, even then, you just can't meet in the middle?
Then you need to be prepared to walk away politely.
That can be tough.
It really can, especially early on. But consistently taking lowball offers just to get any work, it sets a bad precedent for you, and honestly, for the industry too. It can also lead to burnout and resentment.
Yeah, you end up undervaluing yourself long term. So related to that, what are some common mistakes creators should try to avoid when pricing?
Well, one big one is just looking at what other creators charge and copying them directly.
Oh, right. Just matching someone else's rate card.
Yeah. While market awareness is good, your unique skills, your niche, the results you get might be totally different. Don't undervalue yourself just because someone else is charging less. Your value proposition could be much stronger.
Good point. Focus on your value. What's another pitfall?
We kind of touched on it, but that temptation to drastically underprice yourself just to get your foot in the door, hoping it leads to better paid work later.
The exposure trap, almost.
Kinda, yeah. Or just hoping for future work. While getting started requires some flexibility, consistently charging way below your worth makes it incredibly hard to raise your rates later. It digs you into a hole.
Right. It becomes a race to the bottom, which isn't sustainable. So the takeaway is constant review.
Absolutely. The whole UGC world changes, fast platforms evolve, trends shift. You need to regularly reassess your pricing. Does it still make sense for your goals? For the current market, stay informed.
Okay. Now, theory is great, but it's always useful to hear from people actually in the trenches. Our research included some voices from the UGC community, right?
Yes, definitely. We found a really insightful comment on the RUGC creators subreddit. Let me find it. Here. This user said, "You simply state that your rates start at X amount. Packages, such as 3 videos, would often come with a discount but bundle priced."
Okay, setting a baseline.
Exactly. And they continue. "And sometimes we lower our rates if it's a product brand we're really interested in working with, which shows some flexibility."
Right, for passion projects maybe.
I would never lower my rate that much, though. So flexibility, but with firm boundaries, knowing your absolute floor.
That's super practical advice. Know your minimum, offer bundles, be slightly flexible for the right brands, but don't give it away.
Perfectly summarized. And there was another great point from Peter Brennan on LinkedIn.
Oh yeah, well yeah.
He suggested a simple way to handle lowball offers. Make your price non-negotiable, but your scope flexible.
Reinforcing that point we discussed.
Exactly. He says instead of dropping your rates to fit a client's budget, adjust the deliverables instead. It's the same core idea, protect your value per unit of work.
That's 2 strong votes for adjusting scope, not price, when budgets are tight. Seems like a key takeaway.
It really does. And look, for anyone listening who wants to go even deeper on this, the sources we used are fantastic.
Right.
Guides like The Ultimate Guide to UGC Rates in 2024, another one titled UGC Rates 2025, The Ultimate Guide with Real Numbers, and also Setting Your Rates as a UGC Creator from places like UGC 101 and InBeat. They have tons more detail.
So plenty of further reading if you want to really get granular.
For sure. Highly recommend checking those out.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this up. Bringing it all together, the fundamental message seems to be understand your worth, price accordingly.
That's the core of it. It's not just about your own bank account, though that's important.
Right.
It's also about contributing to, raising the professional standards and the perceived value of UGC across the board.
When creators value themselves properly, it helps educate brands too.
Precisely. Your confidence in your pricing helps shape how the entire marketing industry views authentic, creator-driven content.
So the encouragement for you listening is, take an honest look at how you're pricing things right now. Does it truly match the value you provide?
Yeah, based on everything we've discussed today, are there any tweaks or adjustments you need to make? Be honest with yourself.
And maybe a final thought to leave you with. Consider this. How does valuing your work confidently impact more than just your income today?
How does it influence the long-term perception and respect for what creators like you bring to the table in the whole marketing landscape?
What steps can you take, starting now, to make sure your pricing reflects the true, undeniable worth of your creative contributions?